Hello, today on the show we're talking about setting up a business, starting a business, acquiring clients, intuition and delegation. Hello and welcome. This is Dylan Kolstad and you're on the Ask DK show. So this is episode 4 of #AskDK, where entrepreneurs pose their questions to me and I do my very best to answer them as best as I know in my vast experience as being an entrepreneur. Okay, so it's an exciting week ahead. I'm going to the UK next week. I am cacking myself because it's just meetings back to front, and I'm meeting startups and I'm meeting companies and entrepreneurs and a whole lot of different things happening in the UK. So I'm pretty excited because I think we're going to start making some magic. Why am I going to the UK? This is my moonshot. Thank you, Johnson. I'm busy reading his book. This is my moonshot. I'm trying to go set up my offices in the UK because enough talking about it, and I'm actually just going to start doing it now. Okay, so this week's questions are from a bunch of different platforms, from Twitter through to emails as well as DMs on Instagram. So let's get into the first one. So Steve Farrand has asked us, when did you feel comfortable delegating business or product decisions? So that's a very tricky one. Now, I was very involved in my business from day one. I did everything. I literally did everything. And then as I got more and more staff, they did half, and then, so it went. And I was completely involved in my business up until about a year ago when I met Business Doctors Western Cape. Now, Business Doctors have this great program called Value Builder, and they showed me that I'll never grow my business into something that can scale or that I can sell if I'm completely actively involved in the daily operations of the projects and the client management. So from then till now, it's been about a year and a half that I've worked at actively pulling myself out of shift one. I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations. I'll be involved maybe with the client acquisition and strategy, and from there on I hand over to an amazing team. So for me, it's very important that you have really, really good people. So since I met Business Doctors, I set my sights on acquiring really, really top staff. And yes, they're expensive. So this kind of balancing act of what can the business afford, who can you find? And obviously in startup, often in the startup, if you're not a funded startup and you're bootstrapping like I did, you don't have a lot of money to invest in huge expensive salaries. So then you just got to find people who are willing and have the right heart and who are writers, and then you just teach them as many skills as you can. So that's what I did in the beginning, but now I can actually afford to hire people who know something. And so I've got some really good staff members, and they look after my clients for me, and I'm slowly starting to lift myself out of the business, so I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations. So I delegate based on the following things. I delegate based on how serious is it, how experienced is a person that's handling the problem. So you can't abdicate when you move out of being involved in a day-to-day basis from your business. You can't abdicate your business because it's going to die, because you're the only one that's passionate about it to the level that you are. So you have to delegate based on the person's experience and also on the seriousness of the matter. So get involved when you need to get involved. So I don't know if that answers your question, Steve. I hope it does. If it doesn't, DM me and I'll be more specific next time. Okay, question number 2. How do you get clients to be attracted to your product or business? This is from Ria Rabetswe. So Ria Rabetswe, thank you for your email. I actually got this really nice long email from you explaining your business. So I know exactly the phase you're in. When I was in the phase that you're in, it was really, really hard. So you're busy creating your flyers and you going around and you're hoping that people will start buying your service. So okay, I've got one rule for you. If your bum is in your chair at the office, you're not making money. So every time you find yourself in your chair, refining your little brochure and doing something admin-y like color coding your files, you're not making money. The goal is you've got to be out there. You've got to be pounding the streets. I have a friend who started a plumbing business in Joburg, Paul Mertzbacher Plumbing, and he hit the ground with flyers. So he walked for about, I can't remember exactly, 6 weeks when he started his business, and he just wallpapered every single house with flyers. He dropped them off in the post boxes in his entire catchment area. He physically walked about 2 or 3 times just dropping flyers in post boxes. Some of those people are still his clients, and that's almost like 20 years later. 16 years I think he's been in business. So absolutely get flyers, and if you know where your customers are in terms of a physical footprint, there's nothing better than flyers. Do some nice professionally designed ones. If you don't have any money at all, get a hold of SEDA, S-E-D-A. They help small businesses like you, and they'll get you a graphic designer. You just pay a small fee. They'll print them for you. Webprinter.co.za is about 60% cheaper than most printers online. You'll be very, very happy with their service. So yeah, I think the main thing is just to say, get out there, get networking, make sure that you have some professionally designed flyers, and then just be visible to your clients. And obviously social media is amazing, but the one thing I can say to you, the other thing I can say to you as well is do some work for free. Until you've got like a lot of clients that you've done work for, you need to get some names on your books, right? You need to be able to say, I've done this event, and I've done this party hire, and I've done this party planning. So you need to just do as much free work as you can. Offer your time for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Obviously they need to pay for the hard costs, but your time will be free. And then at least you can say, I did some work for this person and this person, this one. You get some testimonials, and once you've got 3 testimonials, then you have a business. Okay, question number 3 from Steve Farrand. Thank you, Steve, for the next question. How often do I go with my gut feeling when making business or product decisions? So gut feeling is an interesting thing, because obviously the more experienced you are, and the more you know, and the more you've worked, your gut feeling becomes a little bit more your intuition develops, and it becomes stronger, and you start trusting it more. I do believe in intuition. I do believe in your gut feeling, and often we make decisions based in our head, and I feel like sometimes our head doesn't make the right decisions. That in here you get this kind of premonition of whether something is right or wrong, and you just have to trust it, because it's the voice of God, and it knows the future. Because every time you leave home and you think, oh, I should take a jersey, and then you don't take a jersey, and then you think I should have taken a jersey. How did that voice know you should have taken a jersey? It's the voice of God. It knows the future. So that's why I really do believe that your gut instinct often is trying to tell you something that we just aren't attuned to it. So I would say, I don't know how often I use my gut instinct, but I would definitely say that it comes into play. And I'm always checking inside to see if this makes sense. Like I always say that the path of an entrepreneur is like a little shining light in front of your feet. You don't see a huge amount of light shining on your path. You don't see the whole future illuminated before you. You've just got this tiny little little bit of light that's thrown in front of your feet. So often I'll shuffle down a path and think, okay, I'm going to try this out. I put a different iron in the fire, and I'm testing something. And I find that I start feeling weird and confused and overwhelmed and unhappy, and just this general darkness falls down over me. And that's when I know I'm doing something wrong. And then I'll just think, okay, where did I last find peace? Where was the last place of light and goodness that I felt? And then I'll just backtrack from there. So if it was a partnership, sometimes I've been going down a path with signing up business partners, people who want to buy into my business, and I just get overwhelmed with this feeling of, no, something's not right. And then I think, okay, when was the last time that something felt right? And then it'll be before you started talking to these people. So I'll just have to turn them down, backtrack, get back onto that path of light. So that path of light, you don't know, you never know which is going to be the right way. And like I said, as an entrepreneur, I walk and I push, I walk and I push. And then some things are easier, and you sort of go that way. And some, irons you put in the fire, and nothing ever happens. But you got to keep putting all those different irons in the fire. Keep testing different things. Okay, so question number 4, how can I start my business without draining my wallet? And that's from Quibus van der Mesh. So Quibus, I bootstrapped my business, but we had a bit of an access bond. So I would, a couple of months, probably about 6 times in the 6 years that I was in business, I had to take money out my access bond to pay staff. So I made sure that there was always a little bit of overflow there. In a couple of months, I didn't pay myself either. And I completely did it. Bootstrapped my business to this point. I don't have any debt. I don't have any loan, except my house, still not paid off yet. But so it's a difficult thing. If you have to lay out a huge amount of capital because you have to do die, get tool and die making for plastics and stuff like that, you may need to take a loan at a bank, which is expensive, or you may need to get people to invest in your business, which is difficult and tricky because you've got no proven track record. The best thing I can say to any entrepreneur is get traction. You need people using your product. Once you've got a proven test case, and you can say, I've got 5 customers, or I've got 500 customers a day using my app, then you can go for funding, then you can go to people, and then you've got some power of negotiation. If you don't have anybody using your client, your business, or you've got no clients, it's very hard to convince people to do anything with you. So Go for the smallest minimum viable product that you can literally bootstrap it. I didn't take fancy offices. I didn't buy fancy equipment. I mean, for the first 3 years, we didn't have a fridge and a microwave. Someone brought their grand's microwave in. And my staff were constantly saying, we need a fridge. I was like, we don't need a fridge. We need income. We need clients. We'll get a fridge when we can afford it. And now, very happily, I can say we have a fridge. But it's always a fine balancing act between things that you want versus things that you need. So keep it down to the absolute minimum. But there's one thing don't negotiate on. Don't work from home. Don't work from your kitchen table. Definitely go and get co-working shared space. It's not expensive, and it'll be an investment, and you'll thank me in a year's time when your business grows twice as fast. Cool, so that's it for episode 4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. If you want to be on the show and if you want your questions featured, please just use the hashtag AskDK. Otherwise, you can DM me any of my channels. And I hope you have a really, really good week. Get out there, get selling, get off your butt, get selling. And we'll chat to you next week. Thanks so much. Subscribe. Thank you.